Welcome to Akulmai Business Channel. My name is Kanchan, and in this episode, we will be discussing about a very crucial point, and that is depreciation of Indian rupee. And our guest is Mr. Sitesh Srivastav, who is an industry leader. So let's welcome him. Hello, Sitesh. Welcome to the show. And today we are discussing very interesting subject. So, how are you today?
I'm well and very, very happy because we are going to talk about money.
Yes, definitely. Money, which is we are really in love of money, or all of us, and we keep on trying to earn more and more money. But the question is that now rupee has a rise compared to the dollar has difficulty. It has fallen because if you see the current rupee status, it is crossed 79 rupee per dollar. So why this kind of rupee is degrading? Any idea, and how did you see how economy is going towards, especially in India?
Yes, Kanchan, while rupee makes our lives go up and down, tumbling and again going up, it is very interesting to see the journey of Indian rupees. You know, it was almost equal with the American currency, the dollar, in 1947. And children of today will not believe this, that
Right.
in 1947, $1 was 1 rupee. So 75 years of India's freedom, and the dollar is touching little more than 75. So we can see how much the rupee is depreciated. As of yesterday, 79.72 against the greenback. So the rupee has depreciated by 79 percentage points since 1947. And that is a very interesting journey, and it has to be seen in a very academic point of view to understand why this happens and why this has happened. So let's see, we can go to America and earn money rather.
Yeah, but I think all of us cannot go to America because we have to deal with our Indian rupee. And I also want to tell you because maybe ask you that since now the government has come out with a strict regulation by RBI, it said that all the purchases, all exports should be done in Indian rupee. And like Russia also, because past few months, when they have already dictated that if they any country wants to purchase the crude oil, they have to pay in rubles. So likewise, Indian state is also issuing these kind of orders. So, how you really see when we see how we are managing? I mean, when we talk about the government and IBI, what how we are managing depreciation of the rupee?
Well, on one side, Kanchan, we see that Indian rupee is being, accepted in multi geographies, and India's NPCI, that's the Payment Corporation or Payment Council of India, they are trying to go out and make more acceptances for Indian rupees. Still, it is very interesting to see why Indian rupee has slided. It will touch probably 80 very soon. And if you see the world currencies also, the euro and the pound, they are also losing their sheen so much. And if we are seeing that, the euro is almost going to be connected to the dollar rates. So euro starts somewhere right now with 87, and dollar with 79. Not very far. They can become friends very soon with as compared to the Indian rupee. But it's very interesting. When I did my little research, Kanchan, there are, we have to understand the India's rupee basically from the three different segments. One is the pre-forex crisis. One is the forex crisis and the devaluation that happened. And the third is the post-liberalization. So when we say the pre-forex crisis, we actually, as I started saying, Indian rupee was equal to dollar in 1947. But that time, the dollar rates versus Indian rupee was not published on a daily basis, probably by Reserve Bank of India. So that kind of data of everyday rupee versus dollar has been there since Morarji Desai government, somewhere in 1977. And interestingly, Kanchan, that was the time when actually Indian rupee actually appreciated against dollar. There was a brief period that the dollar versus rupee actually moved ahead, you know. And from after Morarji Desai government or the Janta government, the first opposition government in this country, after that Morarji Desai's government, the Indian rupee has been depreciating, and that has been across whether it was our Gujral Saab's government or Mr. Deve Gowda's government or Chandrasekhar's government, Manmohan Singh's government, version 1, version 2, and now we see our current government. And therefore, it is very interesting to see what is the pre-forex crisis, what is the forex crisis. In 1991, we had a balance of payments scenario. And balance of payment actually forced us to devalue our currency very, very sharply. And if you see the statistical data, that was the time when Indian currency was slid almost like 11% as against to the dollar. And this is interesting to note that within various governments today, we are saying that what is happening, Indian currency is going down. But technically speaking, if you see as compared to the BRICS nations currencies, Indian currency, despite being depreciated, is actually very stable currency. And this stability can also have a mapping with the Chinese currency also, which is also very stable, though it seems to be very much depreciated with the current rate of the Chinese yuan. So it is very interesting to learn these rupee movements. At the same time, governments push to take Indian rupee and make it more acceptable in the various financial destinations of the world is actually a very good move, Kanchan.
Yes, as you mentioned the China, because you have seen it that China's currency has around 5% of depreciation in last few months, and India is also not very far behind. But and as you mentioned that we are making strong Indian rupee in other countries also, because there are around, I think, as 23 countries where we are more keen to float our currency. But another question is, since we are facing a downtime, and at the same time we are also government is also coming up with a lot of export oriented policies, and they are also calling other investors in India, and half of them, they have invested, and but still due to this depreciation of rupee, the companies have just waiting to really and seeing the right time for the investment. But if we really see about the demand and supply, it has this whole thing has risen in last few months, and I think that is equalating the depreciation and the all other money depreciation and the economy. So, what do you really say about this, and what you see in the future?
Kanchan, it is the government of the current times which takes the decision based on all the parameters that are available in the global financial world, the data which is being released, the data that is being seen in the different stock exchanges every day. And most of the time, when the country has to borrow, the currency has to be devaluated. And that has been our, when in 1962 we had wars with China in 62, another one in Pakistan with 1965. So it resulted in a huge deficit on India's budget, forcing the government to devalue the currency against the dollar. And you know and the rupee's link with the British currency was broken in 1971, and that time it was linked to the US dollar. And somewhere in 75, Indian rupee was pegged at 88.39 for a dollar. And as I said, in 1991 we faced a balance of payment crisis, and that actually, our currency was devalued very, very sharply, which was because of the high grip of inflation, low growth. Foreign reserves were not even worth to meet 3 weeks of imports. Today, the balance of payments, the GDP, and all of those parameters, which are basically taken in the international market by the rating agencies to downgrade or upgrade our economy, this all actually impacts the rupee's movement or currency's movement. So it is very interesting to see, just 2007, it was like $1 was 45 rupees. Then in 2019, it was 79 rupees, 70 rupees. And today we are seeing 79 rupees. So while we see what was the situation in pre-forex crisis, when we started borrowing externally, we had to devaluate. So it became a forex crisis, balance of payments, especially during Chandrasekhar's government, where we had to keep our gold as a collateral into the international markets. Then the post-liberalization after P.V. Narasimha Rao and Mr. Gujral and Vajpayee's time. So there have been a gradual move of this depreciation. I don't think that we should see this depreciation only from a negative angle, Kanchan. It should basically help us in more exports, where we get more forex, and it should also help us put our currency at a place where it is commanding its respect, which always does not come from being at the top. If that would have been the case, that a dollar or a pound or a euro would have always been the most respected ones. But we know China's currency, we know China's might, we know with that kind of a smaller China's currency value, still it is the global manufacturing at the hem of it, right? So Japanese currency, it is exchange. It is the exchange is seen as from the 100 yen rather than 1 yen. It's a very interesting. So this is all about, I think, the economists plus the finance ministers of the world, and I think that Indian currency is being strengthened. While it looks it is depreciating, I feel it is getting strengthened. And couple of geographies, our India's NPCI is going, where Indian currency would be seamlessly available for trade and exchange at the airport. You will just, and I also heard in the Russian case that you mentioned, Russian banks are managing payments in Indian rupees. So they keep the Indian rupees balances, so that there is no conversion at all somewhere. So nobody is paying conversion fee, and that is what is actually pushing the India's currency value. I'm sure this is not as as fancy as it should be, but I think it should be seen from a very, very delicate balance of the international financial markets across every day.
Yes, you mentioned very rightly, and if we really see the depreciation of the money and a recession and in a couple of parts of the world, so we all of the countries they are going towards that phase. But still, when we say about the depreciation of Indian rupee, but we are very different if we compare to the Turkey or to Pakistan, where they are facing so much problem in their economy. And then you have mentioned rightly that yes, India has stopped buying dollars, if you know, and they are more enthusiastic in spending the Indian rupee or asking other people to give the money in Indian rupee. So that is a great move. And the last point I would like to, or last thought I would like to say, maybe for 2 years, because after the 2 years there is an election. So how far we can reach towards economic growth?
That's an interesting question and also a political one, which I think I'm not a political pundit. So I can only observe and gauge from what is happening, not just in India, but across the region, Asia Pacific or the Western Asia. The war is looming in the Russia Ukraine has crossed 5 months now. So this all along with other situations in the world financial markets. Recently we were in WTO for asking for certain liberalizations, and see all of us into the more or less the same equal footing. I think the Indian economy is moving towards a strength, and Indian rupee, though from a, what do you say, NRI perspective, you know, people who are sending in dollars, they can definitely make a better return on that because of the movement. But at the same time, it is the purchasing power, it is the foreign inflow in the economy, and it is important to invest in India today across the globe. This is the sentiment. India is a great destination for investment.
Mm.
Despite money being at that levels today, the way India is progressing from the manufacturing part, from the inflow of foreign investment which is coming in FDI, I think up to the general election, we will definitely see a much stronger rupee in terms of its purchasing power, in terms of its parity, in terms of its respect, and in terms of its uh, weight which it carries in the international banking channels, monetary fund, and economic forums, and the way that we are creating the unicorns in this country.
Mm.
By 2024, the word sunicorn will go away.
Yes, we hope for the best, and there's one point, because we are also working towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, and that will also add in economic economic development. And it was quite a thought-provoking discussion, Hitesh, and we look for the best, and we respect. We look forward to get the due respect of our Indian rupee in future. So we'll be meeting again with the next topic, and we'll discuss about that topic in future episodes. Till then, bye bye, and you take care.
Thank you, Kanchan. Let's go and trade dollars now.
Sure, any day. Bye bye. So we had a quite interesting discussion with Mr. Sitesh Srivastava regarding the depreciation of Indian rupee and the economy. I look forward for your comments and your ideas. I'll be meeting again in the next episode with a thought-provoking topic. Till then, bye bye. Take care.